Hello, everybody, and welcome to another beautiful Sunday for another episode of One Mountain, Many Paths. So, we have really awesome opportunities I need to tell you about right now, and I'm going to share my screen really quick so you can see them. I want to tell you about today is our big yearly live event. It is called the Crossing Mystery School. Now, I'm going to show you a little video because I've been working in the background, cutting together video from last year. And it's been so fun cutting this together because it's bringing back all the memories of how cool this event really is. Where if you're interested in coming to a live event where you get to do the deepest of deep dives with Dr. Marc Gafni, but also his wonderful, wonderful, magical partner, Dr. Christina Kincaid, who does body work and energy work, and a whole host of other amazing people. Click that link and just add your email, and then we'll reach out to you with details. So we hope to see you all there.
Thank you. So my friends, I just want to be really, I want to kind of be just as clear as I can be. I agree with everything that Eli said, except for one sentence, right? Eli said in this kind of very polite, kind of sweet way, business as usual, it's going to be really cool, right? He uses the word cool, Eli. I'm not sure about that word, Eli, but it's okay. Cool's an okay word. And then he said, well, if you're interested, right? Oh, no, this is not, if you got the point of what was in that clip, this is not a if you're interested moment, right? This is the world is in this time between worlds. The world is in this time between stories. Whether that is in Minneapolis or whether that is in a completely different way, no comparison between them, right? The one has several people killed, the other has 90,000 people killed, but they're different kinds of threats, Sudan or Ukraine. So it's not like, well, if you're interested, come on over. No. No, this is not like an entertainment thing. Hey, this is like a great event to run. It's really cool. We have room for 100 people in the room. And I want to ask every single person not to oh, I'm in a depression now, so I can't come because I'm in my depression. Oh, I've got the right. we need all of us in the room. We need every single spot in that room filled up. We don't make profit on the event at all. This is not a for-profit event. This is where we take the next step in evolving the source code of culture and consciousness and actually breaking through to the next level. So I'm asking really just from the bottom of my heart. This event, for me, if I can, with just permission to everyone, just to be a little bit personal, we decided to actually write the Great Library, and that the events that we do, everybody with me? The events that we do are, public Dharma laboratories, right? Public Dharma laboratories. That's what they are. They're public Dharma labs where we kind of work out something about the next stage, right? In this new story of value. We're working out the next stage of stuff. Does that make sense? And we're trying to break through the most important things that need to be broken through, right? In world culture, which prevent us from having a story of value that we live inside of together, which is the root cause of the meta crisis, right? The root cause of the meta crisis, my friends, is a global intimacy disorder, right? And the reason people are killed on the streets of Minneapolis and killed in a whole different, obviously, level by the tens and tens of thousands, right, on the streets of Sudan, that no one protests, right? And the reason the left all over Europe and the United States hasn't bothered really to protest Iran. Not much protest, right? Not much protest because, of course, Qatar's massively invested in all of the American and English university and European university systems, right? And the students are coming out of departments that are funded, right, by people who were, right, former heads of the Muslim Brotherhood, heads of major departments, Middle East departments in England, former leading figures in the Muslim Brotherhood, which is an organization dedicated to the utter destruction of every value that democracy holds precious, and every value in the field of value that is not about the domination of radical Islam over the entire world. That's where we're at a very strange place, where our information ecology is broken. People don't know how to do sense making. There's no shared story of value. And at the core of it, my friends, it's because there's a fundamental breakdown in how we understand what value is itself. We haven't solved any of the great attacks on value theory by modernity and postmodernity. In any way, we haven't solved what the teacher-student relationship is, right? And it's, yes, the Dharma's at the center, but there's also a teacher, and how does that work? And what's the transmission of the teacher-student relationship? We haven't solved what love is. We don't know what love is. We have no idea. We don't know what Eros is. We don't know what integrity is. We don't know what loyalty is. We don't know what uniqueness is. We don't have a universe story. We don't have a sense of what self is. Any of those. Right? We deconstructed all the old systems, in part legitimately and importantly, and left nothing in their stead. So we have a world that's radically interconnected and radically non-intimate. So we live in unbearable interconnectivity. So a virus, right, emerges from Wuhan, China, and kills millions of people around the world. We can't get any clear information about how to even respond to that virus. And it obviously doesn't respect national boundaries, and yet no one gets together in order to solve what's happening, right? We don't know how to be intimate, right? I've been following the last 6-7 weeks, again, very, very closely, the Ukraine, right? How many people know about what Zelensky said the last couple of days, right? What's actually going on in Ukraine? How many people actually understand what's happening inside of Israel, inside of Gaza, right? We live in a world that's unbearably intimate, but the core structures of sense making, right, are breaking down. We don't have time to go through the competing vectors of information, and we don't have a way to actually be able to understand what we're reading. We don't have any ground and a story of value from which we can then interrogate what we're reading. Does everyone get that? It's insane. And Henry Kissinger writes right before he dies. He's writing with Eric Schmidt and one other gentleman. He writes right before he dies, right? At the end of his book, Genesis, he writes, elliptically, he kind of hides it, but you have to read between the lines if you get it. What he basically says is the single most important challenge to the survival of the world as we know it, humanity, existential risk, the potential death of humanity, right? Or what we call the potential death of our humanity is dependent, says Kissinger. He says, I didn't get this. If you have to read between the lines, I didn't get this my whole life. I was doing realpolitik. Henry Kissinger, hard-ass realpolitik, right? The guy who kind of created Bretton Woods in 1945, which is not far from my house, right? The New World Order that's now fallen apart. He says the only way we can actually make it through as humanity is to actually understand value. We don't understand value. And we have no way, therefore, of establishing what value is. And therefore, we have no way of establishing a shared story of value. He uses the word value. He doesn't use, obviously, our exact language. But if you read him carefully, he tips his hat. Chapter 8 in the conclusion, he says it's the overwhelming moral, political imperative for the survival of humanity. But again, he hides it, but it's Kissinger talking. He's talking about hard realpolitik. Right? This is what we've been working on here since 2009. Kissinger got it right before he died. And then the reviewers of Kissinger's book ignored it. They kind of like, because he said it and he kind of hit it. And right, if you look at the reviews of the book, they didn't even quite get it. A few people got it. That is where we are. This is not, are you interested? This is if you're here, that's because you're an incredibly beautiful person. That's because you have incredible depth. That means that you found your way here. You showed up here, right? You showed up. Thank you. Thank you. Let's thank each other for showing up. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to come together. We come together. It's once a year, 20 to 24th of April. Right now, there's 1,000 reasons. Sometimes, there's people, I will get a note from someone. I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. And this is problematic and that's problematic. As if we were doing business as usual. This is not a business as usual moment. Right? Everything is on the line. We're at a time between worlds. We're at a time between stories. Right? And Zach and I have been saying some version of that sentence for the last 10 years. And, the sentence is being kind of repeated, but without right? It's not a slogan. Right? And it's like everyone's like, people have turned the meta crisis into a hobby or into a career move. So Zach and I have people who read what we've done. They take our exact language, then they kind of empty it of meaning. Then they kind of start a think tank kind of around it, but actually refusing to gather all the people and have a real conversation as they're doing. So people literally, I watch what happens around me. I'm like, guys, we're not trying to commodify the meta crisis and sell it as a career opportunity. The meta crisis means, let me tell you what the meta crisis means. It means unimaginable suffering. There's already unimaginable beauty in the world. There's unimaginable goodness. There's unimaginable kindness in the world. There are billions of acts of kindness that hold the world together every day. And there is unimaginable pain. We live in a world, my friends, we live in a world of outrageous pain. The only response to outrageous pain is outrageous love. We live in a world of outrageous beauty. The only response to outrageous beauty is outrageous love. And the greatest outrageous act of love that we can do is to articulate a new story of value. Does that make sense? The greatest outrageous act of love we can do is to articulate a new story of value, and that's hard. That's hard. It's hard. We can't just declare things. I was listening. Christina Amlin does a beautiful job in the Dharma Recap, and she takes sentence by sentence. They're all exact quotes, and she reorders them in the best way to get them across in a short amount of time. And she does it gorgeously. And I want to take you in for the next half hour, just a little sense of something, which I want to try and take you into, but just to get, right, this expression and articulation of time that we're talking about, which we're going to come back to in a couple of weeks. We're going to take a couple of weeks off from it. I'm going to talk a little bit this week, just about some of the broad kind of background issues, but just to get it for a second, okay? Just get it. Be with me for a second. What it takes to get to those clarities. Those are second simplicity, next level clarities. Does that make sense? Like there's second simplicity, next level clarities that are organizing an enormous amount of information in biology and approaches to physics and in mathematics and political theory, right? In the interior sciences, and coming to a set of conclusions around time that are actually enormously important. We're in the middle of that. I'm going to say a little bit about today. I'm going to do something completely different, something we've never done before in One Mountain. I'm taking maybe I'm thinking about maybe taking you on a little fun tour. I'm kind of making a decision on that in these couple of seconds. But just to give you a sense of the depth that kind of stands behind what we're trying to do. Okay? But what we're trying to do is crack the source code. And, I went to Oxford. Many of you have done other university things. Zach did Harvard. Those are both kind of hot houses of mediocrity, right? It's not about a kind of academic kind of fig leaf. It's about getting into the deepest thing that can be done on the planet and the deepest feeling that can be done on the planet, because we feel and we think together, right? And then we articulate together a new story of value that China will find its way in, and Taoism will find its way, right? And secular humanism will say, oh, okay, we can find our way here and go the next step. And Islam in its deepest structures will find its way, right? And the best of Russia can find its way, and Africa can find its way. It's got to be a new story of value that we recognize in our bodies, in our hearts, and in our minds. And it's got to be a story that we can tell to every child, right, across the world, to every man, woman, and child across the world, and every gender fluid expression, right? We got to tell it to everybody, right? And it's got to be a story that unites us, because at the very core of the meta crisis is global challenges that we cannot meet, because every single challenge is global. You can't meet a global challenge without global coordination. You can't have a global coordination without some sense of global coherence. You cannot have global coherence without resonance. We have to resonate with each other. You can't have global resonance without global intimacy. And you cannot have intimacy without shared value. So without a shared story of value that is real, we have no chance. None. We have exponential technologies, right, in the hands of rogue state actors. We don't have a shared story of value to create coherence. It will fall apart. It will fall apart, and will fall apart badly. And the most disadvantaged, right, the most socioeconomically challenged, meaning poor, right, with the most ill health, right, with the least resources, are going to get hurt the most at first. But hurt badly. Really badly, right? Really, really badly. Just in the United States today, there's 1 million people living in their cars. That's just one figure. But that's nothing, right? People are, the level of unleashed suffering is hard to imagine, to the extent we could actually lose the whole thing, or we'll impose a repressive regime, an immersive environment of the internet, to save us from the death of humanity by causing the death of our humanity. That's what drives us. So what drives us is love. What drives us is Eros. What drives us is a passionate intimacy with everyone. What drives us is a sense of loving the whole and caring for the whole. What drives us is the sense that it's our turn in this generation, right, to take responsibility for the sake of the whole. Okay, so I'm inviting everyone, like mad, crazy, insane invitation, like total invitation, right? April, let's put it in the chat box with a link if you can. Not if you're interested, turn the world upside down to get there. Turn the world upside down to get there, right? It's going to be insanely important, okay? It's going to be insanely important, and make it an absolute radical, wild priority, right? All the way, like all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. Okay? Let's be there together, and in that week, let's come together physically, right? Touching each other, holding each other, right? Embracing each other, right? Meet the people that are going to walk with you for life. And let's blow the source code open, right? In a way that we can only do when we're radically loving each other. Right? Does that make sense? And you will have the most stunning, transformative experience you can imagine. But turn the world over to get there. Just turn the world over, right? Like, in other words, the only thing that's going to make you turn the world over is the realization that you matter. It matters, and not it matters and you matter. It matters that you're there. And if you're already coming, then I want to ask, bring 1 or 2 other people with you. Bring 1 or 2 other people with you, okay? Right? And if you can, my friends, Romans and countrymen, right? Lend me your ears, right? We matter. This matters. It matters all the way. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.